Hey everybody, it's Dana here, and I am at 336 with Sierra, and we are talking about running an effective shift. A big part of the team leader's responsibility or director's responsibility of running a shift is making sure that we are being productive and that we're monitoring labor. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at a setup sheet, and the setup is kind of where you have to figure out who are the aces and what places you're going to put them in. We're going to go ahead and discuss this with Sierra. She's actually going to be making a setup sheet. This setup that we're working on is for lunch, which happens to be our busy part of the day. So let's make sure that we get those aces in the places before the lunch hour, and we run a really great shift. Thanks.
Hey y'all. Okay, so the first thing that I look at when I'm making a setup is what leaders I have on the shift, and then I place them in their spots first, and then everybody else just kind of trickles in around them. You want to make sure that you have a leader in every section of the restaurant, including outside, so that way if there's any problems, hopefully that leader can solve it, so you're not having to run around all over the store the entire shift. So let's get into the nitty gritty here. So I'm looking down my list. I see we've got PK, he's leader, Mary, Angel, Riley, John. We've got so many leaders. This is awesome. And we got Maria over here. She's coming in at 12, and it looks like she'll be the last leader to come in for this lunch shift. And I'm gonna think about some of the most important positions, so like who's gonna be bagging, drinks, and then obviously, like I said earlier, we're gonna want a leader outside. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna put Parker outside, especially because Parker was in charge this morning, and so I know he hasn't been outside yet today. So we're gonna go PK. We got Mary as our next leader. She does a really good job on the window, and usually we have our window bag stuffing too. So I'm gonna put Mary there on the window. She gets off at 2:30. I think I'm gonna go ahead and put Angel in the dining room. We got Riley. I'm gonna go ahead and put her on drinks, because drinks definitely can be one of those spots that gets a little bit more difficult. I wanna make sure I got a leader there. Okay, and then this is actually Melissa's shift. I'm making kind of a mock setup for her. Usually when I'm in charge, I like to put myself floating, just because I feel like that's a good spot to kind of go wherever you're needed as the leader. So I'm gonna put Melissa floating.
What's another good option, Sierra, if you didn't want to float?
Another really good option is to put yourself bagging curbside. Sometimes leaders will even put themselves as the runner on curbside. I'm gonna put Jake, I'm gonna go ahead and put him as an outside push, because he's really good at just loving on the guests, and we wanna make sure, especially whenever we put expediting, that expectation is set, that they're gonna be just loving on the guests all the time. So now we got all of our leaders placed. So I'm gonna go back down the line and look at everybody else who's on the shift, and they're just gonna kind of fill in the gaps. Chelsea, I'm gonna put on cash bell. And cash bell is another one of those super important positions. You wanna make sure you put someone there who's somewhat experienced, someone that is really good at handling cash, because that is a stressful position, and you definitely wanna keep the line moving while also knowing that they're double checking every order. AJ is gonna be another order taker outside. Okay, so now we only have one more person. So we either have a fourth order taker or another front counter person. And sometimes that can be a difficult decision to make. That's definitely something you want to talk to Alex about as well before the start of your shift, just in case, because at different points of the year or depending on the day, we could be busier in the dining room or we could be busier outside. So I'm gonna go ahead and put a fourth order taker outside. So I'm gonna put Alana outside as the fourth order taker. But if the drive-thru is super slow and front counter is more busy, we want to be flexible, and I'm gonna go ahead and call that fourth order taker inside to be on front counter. And what I'm also gonna do is I'm gonna put my register on front counter, so that way the floater or somebody else who isn't busy in that moment, maybe the bag stuffer, can jump over and jump on front counter if we need it. Or even the dining room person. Angel's gonna be in the dining room. If it's slow for a second, we have a whole crowd walk in, he can jump around on the front counter, help knock out the line, get back in the dining room.
Sierra, what do you do when there's a vice president that's in the building that can also help on the lunch shift?
Oh, yeah, that's a great question. So whenever Ian or Hope or Dana is here, you can definitely utilize them. Really, you can put them in any position you want. You can have a second dining room person. And again, no matter what on your shift, you just want to be as flexible as you can. You want to see where we're the most busy and move people where you need them in that moment. And then don't be afraid to move them and move them again. Because maybe it's busy in dining room for 20 minutes and then it dies in dining room. So maybe you have 2 people in dining room, and then you take that second person and put them as the outside expediter because drive-thru got really busy. So now there's 2 expediters. whatever it is that you need. You just want to be able to see the needs of the shift and move your people accordingly.
And what about Miss Pam? Where does she usually like to be?
Miss Pam usually likes to be in the dining room because she loves to love on all those guests. So if you have somebody training on your shift, it's going to be written kind of just down here in the corner usually, or maybe even at the bottom, but there will be a T next to their name indicating that they're on a training shift. Dritzy's our training director, and she's going to text you beforehand to tell you exactly who's training and who they should be paired with, and even what position they should be in on the shift. So Dritzy texted me yesterday, and she told me that Jimmy's going to be training with Maria on front counter because it's his very first day. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to follow that counsel, and I'm going to put Jimmy right there with Maria. All right, y'all, so whenever you get on the shift, you're here, you're ready to go, you're going to want to look at your handy dandy setup sheet. And Alex made us this beautiful little checklist, and this is going to tell you everything that you should get done before we get our main lunch rush. So you're going to want to hit an exterior check, you're going to want to definitely hit a restroom check, even a restroom sprinter, and then even table touching. So you're going to want to walk around, physically walk around your dining room, check on all the guests, make sure it's really clean, ready to go, the trays are done and clean, and that you're set up for success for your shift. Like this. Okay guys, follow me. We're following Melly right now live here at Chick-fil-A, and she's running the shift. Right now she's doing exactly what we just said, getting ready to go, getting everything prepared and needful, getting everything prepared for her shift.
I just did an exterior check, and then I'm taking the sanitizer back in for my shift.
Yeah. And what else? What are some of the other things that you look for whenever, right before your shift starts?
I look for if spritzers have been done, if exterior has been done, which I already did. I look for, I look for restroom checks, spritzer, exteriors, and table touches.
That's great. Thank you, Melly.
Hi guys, so right now it is 12:44, and then lunch rush kind of died down, so this is the perfect time to check labor. So we go to store management, you're gonna go ahead and put your little code, and then we're gonna go to site reports, we're gonna go to labor report, obviously today, and then we're gonna do the 60 because it's the hour and the actual wage, and then I'm just going to repeat it, print it, anyways. So yeah, so we can tell that for the day it's gonna be 16, and then we did pretty good on the 11 hour. We do want it on 15 or lower, that's where we are trying to aim for, so we might be cutting soon because we do have a little bit too many people. So I'll just have them do some tasks before they leave, like some chores, maybe just like a restroom check, sanitizer, spritzers, exterior of course, and all that good stuff. Obviously don't forget about trays. So
what about lemonade?
Oh, lemonade, yeah. So I'm sorry. So I am about to do lemonade. We are aiming for 10 regulars and 2 diets now. And yeah, it sounds pretty. It's about mid.